And I think we're live.
We are.
Hello,
Awesome.
ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, first of all, thanks Noel for joining us.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, let's see. Curious to see. Hopefully, so I want to start by apologizing to everyone for having screwed up the time, the daylight savings and stuff. So I think people might start joining in like an hour, maybe. Who knows?
Oh, it's my fault. Sweden's time zone. That's just weird.
I wouldn't say that's your fault. I would maybe blame Sweden at best.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully people will catch that. I posted a thing on Instagram hoping that people would see it. But yeah, we'll see. So yeah, without further ado, let's start looking at some questions. So ask people to post things on Instagram.
Oh, quick question first. Yes. Do I is there like a little, oh yeah, I can see it here. The group chat, like will questions pop up here as well?
I can give you a link to the chat if you want. Let me see. Yes. You can pop out the chat externally so you don't have to watch the stream with 10-second back delay and stuff. Do you get it?
Yeah.
It's in the Hangouts. All right, cool. Yeah. So that should pop it up in a window. Yeah, so you'll see all the questions there. And yeah, so nice. Let's look at some questions on Instagram. I already saw a couple interesting ones, but we'll start from the top. Oh yes, so first question is, do you do any magic anymore, or are you just focusing 100% on cardistry nowadays?
Well, I guess I do. I mean, like whenever a person asks me if I can show them a trick, I always, show them one, but I don't like practice magic or create any magic anymore. Right. Unless it's like by accident, I guess. or if you count Ace Productions as magic.
Oh yeah, I mean,
there's kind of a gray area.
I suppose so. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your go-to magic trick?
What's that?
What's your go-to magic trick?
Oh, double lift trick, of course.
Of course.
Or like a biddle trick or whatever. Something quick in the hands stuff.
Yeah, quick, easy, and functional.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. So you basically do magic to be able to justify that you're playing with cards.
No, well, not necessarily. I just I mean I wanna make people happy. So if that's what they want to see, I'll that's what I'll show them. Yeah, that's it's not if they ask me about cardistry, I'll show them cardistry. I don't mind performing magic.
Yeah,
and it's also like a nice segue into showing them some cardistry.
Right. Yeah, because
explaining what that is.
People have a better idea of what card tricks are, and so then you can lead. Oh yeah, by the way, you can also do all this cool stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So other question. Do you always pay attention and watch people's Instagram videos you're tagged in?
I try to. I mean, there's a lot usually, but I try to. But mostly, it's just like people performing my flourishes. And my flourishes are, kind of known for being very, very unpractical. So it can be kind of like cringy just looking through all the videos that I'm tagged in because, most of the stuff is impossible. Like I've done it like once on video and then I'm like, done. So, I mean, I think it's very admirable that people are actually trying to learn it. But most of the time it's, it's not very good. But I obviously enjoy watching other people doing my stuff. It's really cool. But yeah, I try to look at all my notifications on Instagram.
Yeah, that's really cool. Do you is it usually people who are like asking, oh hey Noel, check this out, or is it more like, oh this is Phobos Demos by Noel?
Yeah, most of the time it's just like a person doing my flourish and just like tagging me, which is super nice because they're crediting me, which is awesome.
Yeah, which is awesome. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So how much do you get actually? Does it flood your inbox or is it
I mean, I get a couple of tags every day. I don't really keep count, so I'm not sure.
You don't have a chalkboard where you just mark them down.
Yeah, no, exactly. So yeah, I'm not sure, but a couple a day.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Here's a question from Aviv. So
my man.
If you had to choose one superpower that can help you with your cardistry, what would it be?
Oh fuck.
Hitting you with the real questions.
Oh shit. Well, I mean, if I could levitate cards and shit, I guess that would be magic technically.
Oh,
so yeah. Oh, just a boring answer. I wish I could grow my hands because I'm severely handicapped at the moment. That's why I just do angel stuff because that's the only stuff I can do. Well, that's no excuse. I obviously like small hands. You could do most stuff, but you know it's
more
hard.
Work.
It's hard.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I guess yeah. That's my answer. I would be able to grow my hands. Fucking ET. That'd be sick.
I didn't expect that. What? Oh, 1 second. Sorry about that.
No worries, man.
Yeah, anyways. Never mind. Yeah, I was thinking one thing that would be interesting is invisibility. Because it sounds really dumb. But
no, it doesn't actually.
Yeah, because the thing is that I noticed that a lot of my flourishes, one of the problems I keep running into is that my hands are just in front of the cards and you can't see anything.
Right on. Yeah.
And so I wouldn't have that problem and I could just do cool stuff.
Yeah. Just be cards floating around. Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a cool idea for a cardistry video. If you're like in one of those like green suits, I guess that doesn't make sense because your fingers would covering. But
yeah, cool. Yeah, I've wanted to make a video with those green knocks and do some stupid stuff like green screen, like card designs, or just the next frame onto that, so I could just zoom into the card and do stupid stuff like that.
Yeah, hell yeah, that'd be dope. Cool.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but I saw Boz just post something the other day. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Yeah. Also, someone in chat is saying that you already have Spider-Man powers, so you know.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you. I don't know. It's kind of gross.
Yeah, it's kind of. Do you like heavily lick your fingers before doing?
No, that actually makes it worse for me.
Yeah, I mean, so
kind of like if it's just wet, it doesn't really stick. I guess kind of it's like sweat that's dried throughout the day, kind of like that's the best. Like that's the best stickiness.
The prime, right? Yeah, usually
so
I like
don't wash your hands ever. That's
there you go. Yeah, that's a strat. Noel's tip of the day. Yeah, usually I go with a blowing on my fingers and like kind of rub them.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm just moving through questions here. Also, someone in chat asked if we're taking questions. Yes, put questions in chat. If you want it to be noticed, the best thing to do is to preface it with like question and have a semicolon in there, so it's easier for me to scroll through chat and find it like that. But yeah, we're absolutely taking question. I'm just going through Instagram for the moment. So yeah. Yeah, so someone is asking, how did it feel to blow up at the rates you did when Zach put you? Well, no, I'm trying to rephrase the question because it's asking directly. Yeah, he's asking, how did it feel to, kind of blow up as a result or of the Europe tour that you ended up doing with Biz and Zach?
Oh, beautiful, man! It was beautiful. It was like I was meant to be, man. Like honestly, I was before like Biz like asked me if I wanted to come on the trip. I was like just ready to quit cards.
Oh, ooh, wow!
Because I was doing Magic for like the longest time, like maybe 6 or 7 years or something, until that point. And I've grown like really tired of it because I don't know. I didn't feel like I could like create anything, and I hadn't created anything in like a long while. So yeah, but that trip was like the biggest boost for me, and also, you know, introduced me to Zach, which, you know,
yeah,
the rest is history. But yeah, so I got into cardistry from that basically, and I don't know what I would be doing now if I wasn't like doing cardistry. And if I didn't have that, I'd just be sitting in some office probably. No, I wouldn't even be able to get an office job. I had no idea what I have no idea what I would do. So yeah, no, it's awesome. It's the best.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
So the because the Biz and Zach store, if I understood this correctly, you were kind of a surprise feature.
Oh yeah, Zach didn't even know. Well, Biz is, well, for the people who know Biz, it's no surprise that he would just like invite a random person on this project that Zach like invested a shit ton of money in. But yeah, it ended up pretty. Yeah, it ended up well. So
it ended up really well, I would say.
Yeah. Sometimes Biz craziness is justified for sure.
Sometimes Biz is appropriately crazy, or maybe it wasn't appropriately crazy, but at least it turned out right. So
yeah, exactly.
We'll go with that. Yeah, actually, how did I don't know? Do you have anything to say about that experience? Were you kind of nervous, or did it feel weird to be in that trip, or I don't know?
Not at all, man. Like we were all like, as soon as I met Zach, like we were instantly buddies, and this I've known for years before that, so it was just like exciting and fun. Like there was no pressure, at all. Like we were just like having fun and filming shit. So yeah, no, I guess not. Maybe like the kind of general feeling you have when you're going on like a big trip, just like that, maybe.
But flying a bunch and stuff like that.
But yeah, no, it's just fun.
Awesome. Yeah, because I don't know, it's I guess you could imagine it being framed as you know, Zach is kind of like meeting a bunch of people throughout Europe, and it's kind of like, you know, a rock band tour. But I'm glad to hear that it wasn't.
Yeah, but yeah, also have to remember, like this was a while ago, and this was like when Zach wasn't even half as famous. So I mean, that kind of it wasn't the same. Like like as the Pink tour now. I mean, like just compare the jams.
Yeah, maybe that's why I was thinking about that.
It's pretty crazy. So yeah, no, I didn't really have that.
Awesome. Yeah, because with that, the Europe tour was what, 3 years ago now? Is that right?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
2014, right? Yeah, I think. Or
14.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think.
Yeah, because it was just it was like in January of 2014. So yeah, it would be like around 3 years.
Yeah, which is also when we first met in Paris. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, it was. Of course, man. Of course.
Yeah, when I had this stupid triangle thing on my hand.
That's still cool, man.
It's pretty weird.
But you know, I like weird stuff. That's my thing.
Exactly. Yeah. See, one thing I really like about cardistry is I can really do stupid things. Like, there's not a lot of, like, you know, with juggling, for example, maybe it's because I don't juggle as much as I do cardistry, but it's harder to do things that are just stupid, but they're still kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, that's definitely my philosophy. Like, I value originality way over like perfection or whatever you'd call it. Like, originality is where it's at for me.
Yeah, like the thing I posted last week about the optimal way to do an arm spread, like the best way to do an arm spread. You know, people usually spread on their arm. No, the proper way is to slap it on.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing I don't know. I find it really funny to do.
Yeah, dude, that's what makes cardistry great, man. It's those things.
Yeah. I mean, you can really come up with some really cool stuff. Like Zooey put out a video with his Zooey installations, which is one way to put it, which basically all revolve around the fact that you can hold a card in the flesh between your thumb and your index here. Yeah, which is ridiculously dumb. But then you take this thing and it's like, I mean dumb, not in the sense that it's like useless. That's something like something being dumb in cardistry is almost like a good thing. In this case, the fact he took that and took it into this insane routine is like one of the coolest things to me.
Yeah, man. Like if you deconstruct anything in cardistry or any move, like it's usually dumb, right? Like that's how all ideas start. It start as like a small dumb thing, and then you expand upon it and like try to see the potential in it, basically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, cardistry is in general dumb. So, I mean, what are we doing, really? We're just like.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I'll take a step back and I'm gonna be like, I'm just playing.
Exactly.
Putting cards into Z formation and doing something there. So it was something I was going to get to at later, but while we're here, this is perfect segue. How do you ever get that where you take a step back and be like, what in the world am I doing with these cards?
All the time, man. All the time.
Yeah. How do you get out of that? How do you justify it?
I really like that feeling because it makes me feel special. I mean, it's what I enjoy doing, and that's like, even if I zoom out and feel like, oh my God, I'm surrounded by cards right now, and I'm like, I'm just like, I'm a crazy person, but I mean, I don't think that's a good thing. So
no, it's. I mean, cardistry is really weird if you take a look at it objectively, and I think like the fact that we can do really dumb things is, I think, a really good quality of cardistry. It means that there's enough like breadth that you can do things that are just really stupid and they're still really entertaining, and that's what it all comes down to, really. Someone asks, any tips on pinky isolations?
I'm not sure what.
So I think he's talking
by that.
about
the
like that.
Yeah, micro. Yeah, saliva.
There you go. Cool. Also, don't wash your hands.
Well, for that one, it's actually quite different. I mean, since the card has to be like, well, it's basically moving,
right?
Or I mean, your finger is moving up, so you don't need it to stick. Like, what you need is like a thin layer of wetness. So it basically kind of like just barely just hangs on there, so you can kind of move around.
Interesting, because I thought it was just that you know how the area of stickiness kind of gets smaller and smaller as time goes on. Yeah, that's what I was thinking but just based off of like normal Angel. I'm not gonna lie, I've never tried it, so but that's what I assumed it was. But yeah, so saliva actually helps in this case, as opposed to like normal Angel, which is.
But it's way more delicate. Like you gotta, it's a balance act.
Cool. So also, to get back slightly to what you were saying, what we were talking about before, how did the Europe tour compare to the Pink tour? What you feel was different, better, maybe worse?
Well, I mean, the Europe tour was great because I had, or the Biz and Zach thing was great because I'd obviously never done anything like that before, and I met a lot of people like for the first time, and yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like, it was definitely like one of those milestones in my life. And now it's like a couple of years ago, so it's very nostalgic, and it's very meaningful for me. I actually just watched the documentary yesterday, like in the for the first time in a while. So yeah, no, it's obviously one of the best experiences ever. And then the Pink tour was like the monster version of that. So I mean, it's hard to compare them. I'd say both just as fun because it's just hanging out with friends, that you don't get to meet that often. That's basically what both of those things were. And I obviously got to meet a lot of new people for the first time on the Pink tour as well. And it's it's fun to like now with the Pink tour, it's definitely like we're a part of something more than it was 3 years ago. Because when Biz and Zach came out, I don't believe like Fontaine was actually like a brand at that point. I think he like just launched the Kickstarter for the Blue deck But yeah, now it's like this thing. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to compare them really, but
Yeah. Okay.
it's yeah. I think I was just like away for 2 weeks when I did the Biz and Zach thing,
Right.
and now it was more like 3 weeks to a month.
Yeah. So it's just bigger in every way,
Yeah,
shape, and form.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Cool. Also, question from Zach. Speak of the devil. What's your least favorite thing about cardistry?
Oh shit.
Also asking the real questions.
Yeah. Not to name any names. No. I don't know. I guess it would be kind of. Oof. I guess it would be the mindset that cardistry is and isn't. You know. I think that cardistry is such a fresh and new art form, so I don't know why you would want to put rules.
Oh,
I think that cardistry is so many different things to everyone. I mean, for some people like Zach, cardistry is more like dancing, and for some people it's more like juggling. Like you're playing around with that stuff, and you know, it's so many things. Like I don't know why people want to like put it in a box.
Right.
I guess that's kind of like limiting for the art form for me. So yeah, that would probably be my least favorite thing about it.
Interesting.
I would call my approach would probably be a new wave XCM. That's what I would call it. XCM.
All right.
Yeah. So I think it's different things for everyone, and no one has to say what it should and shouldn't be. And yeah, that's my least favorite thing about cardistry, because it seems like a lot of people kind of think they. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think you get what I mean. Like,
yeah, no, exactly what you mean. Like, for example, you know, a lot when Shivraj was doing, kind of blew up with cardistry. There was this ongoing conversation about, but you know, he's not doing cardistry because he doesn't have 52 cards in hands and isn't doing cuts with and stuff.
But it's card art.
It's art that involves cards.
Yeah, I mean,
and even then, it's just a labeling problem. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you're having fun and enjoying and doing something artistic and it involves cards, I don't see why I wouldn't want to label it as cardistry. You don't lose anything by not calling it cardistry.
That's the word I was looking for, a labeling problem. Thank you.
Yeah. And there was also like when isolations were still not completely mainstream, people were also criticizing, oh yeah, but you know, he's not really like doing packet cuts, so it's not really cardistry and things like that. But yeah, I agree that it's first of all, it's really limiting. Also, there's no points. Like you don't get anything out of labeling something at cardistry, or more importantly, not cardistry. At the end of the day, basically the main thing is that if I would post it on the cardistry subreddit, I'd call it cardistry. I'd post any isolation I see on the cardistry subreddit. I'd post any cardistry things because it just makes sense.
Yeah. So that's like definitely what I want to explore more in the future. Like not necessarily just, you know, the skill hobby aspect of cardistry. Kind of just like, I think there's so much more. Like it doesn't have to be just playing around with cards either. It could be, you know, anything with cards really. And I think that all should be, you know, under the cardistry umbrella, so to speak.
Right. Yeah. Because now cardistry is large enough that there's like legitimately different branches, and you know, people specialize in isolation. Some people do only specifically packet cuts. Some people even do just fans. And the fact that we can do that is also one of those things where I feel like cardistry is like a real thing. Whatever that means. It's like, oh yeah, it's legitimate enough that people have styles and that you can determine, you know, you can tell someone is a cardist just by, you know, their hands and the floors they do. and so that's stuff I really like about it. And so yeah, I guess putting a label on that as well and trying to dismiss things as not being cardistry is just limiting. Also,
and I also think like for people who have issues with, you know, or I guess like laymen have a lot of it's hard to get laymen to understand what cardistry is. But if we keep the art form way more open and we can just say, you know, cardistry is card art, I think like people will understand way better. It's just like art with playing cards, and I mean, and it's not much more to it. I mean, you don't have to like explain like this is packet cutting and this is. I think it kind of speaks for itself if you just you know, keep the terms or the term. I'm not very eloquent, but yeah, I guess you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. So, I feel like it would have been smart of me to like put these into a list that I can actually look at, but I'm not that smart. All right. Also, people have been putting questions. Actually, so we have a question here. All right. So, what is your favorite concept in cardistry? Like along the lines of, you know, we're talking about, you know, isolations versus packet cuts and fans and stuff like that. I don't know, what's the stuff you like the most? It's a bit of a
I kind of already answered this question.
Yeah.
And that's I would say my favorite stuff is the stuff that I wouldn't be able to put under a category.
Okay.
That's always there you the go. Stuff that, you know, I react to the most. So, you know, my man Aviv, for sure. Yeah. Like the shit that is just like fucking like there's yeah, it's just experimental. Like that's the stuff that I like the most, for sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Speaking of Aviv, before we get to the questions on chat here, so in your, I guess your latest video would be Gothenburg Shuffles. Is that how you should pronounce it?
Yeah, Gothenburg Shuffle, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so when I saw that video, one of the things that came to my mind, and that I think I actually wrote down in a comment, was, wow, this is some Aviv level shit. Not just
that's a nice compliment.
Yeah, I meant it like that. No, because there's specific things that are experimental. I think that's really the word that really came. It really hit me hard in the same way that an Aviv video can really hit me hard. And yeah, so I don't know. Do you take inspiration from Aviv, or do you try to do things that are
no, because then no. Okay. Oh well, yeah, obviously, like just the approach, perhaps, but I mean, I think what Aviv's doing and what you should take from his style is that you should you know, do your thing, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not like directly. Wow, some anonymous caller has like called me 3 times. I'm getting pretty scared at this point. Whatever.
Pro tip: you can always look up the phone number on the internet.
It's anonymous. That's why.
It's completely anonymous. Oh boy, yeah. Ooh, that's spooky.
Yeah, it's very spooky. Okay. Yeah, but no, I'm very inspired by all the greats, obviously, and not just the greats, all the community in general. Like whenever I see new shit, and that's, you know, what is this? Okay. But yeah. Sometimes, you know, you see stuff like a small move or something that, you know, that you see is that you might like see some potential in that you could expand upon, but in general, I just do me.
You just do you. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So bouncing off of that, do you do you ever take like a step back and think about your creative process and think about what is it that you do if there's not really like a sequence of things or like a mindset that you have in terms of your creative process? So can you expand on that? It's a tough and broad question.
Yes, it is. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like I didn't really reflect on this at all until recently when I did an interview for Shiv. And what I had to do at that, like really had to, kind of examine myself, because I mean, you can't really give someone tips on how to create stuff. I mean, it comes naturally, and I mean, it's yeah, so it's hard to like know even how you do it, because it's subconscious and it just sort of happens, right? But yeah, it's always different. It's sometimes it's something just happens by accident, like a small thing.
Right.
And other times it's you have an idea in your head and you try to make it happen, or but usually for me it's kind of it starts happening like later at night when you're tired or whatever, and just stuff starts happening. I mean, if you're passionate and play around with cards a lot, it's just inevitable. Like it will happen. Like you'll come up with stuff. So
a lot of it does come down to just experience. And
yeah, for sure. Like what I'm trying to do now is learn a lot of other people's stuff. Because like I'm still relatively new to cardistry. Like I kind of got thrown into the scene with just like a couple of my own original flourishes, and I didn't know how to do anything except for those. So yeah, I think it's very healthy for you creatively to learn a lot of other people's stuff. So you have you build up a skill and you become more versatile. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing now. I'm taking a break from actually creating stuff from scratch, and I'm learning a bunch of new shit. And then when the next creative boost comes, I'll have more to work with.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's always this kind of push and pull between, and this is something I've been experiencing also pretty recently, which is I want to just create some stuff, but I also acknowledge that I have a block in my creative ability, because I know that if I had more knowledge of just different mechanics and things like that, I could, instead of getting stuck in this cut and doing something that's obvious, I could go to something that is less obvious by having more experience.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, how do you, is there like, what kind of cuts are you trying to learn? Are you trying to learn things that are really new,
I'm trying to do stuff that's mostly outside of my comfort zone. And also stuff that's I'm pretty lazy, so a lot of like accessible stuff. So I've been checking in a lot of like the dealer script stuff, and I don't know, I'm practicing a bunch of I always practice like a shit ton of stuff at the same time. That's why it's very slow for me. Like it would be way easier if I just like, did one at a time and like get it down, but I don't know, I'm just all over the place. But yeah, just from small stuff that I find interesting on Instagram or like tutorials on YouTube. But yeah, I'm trying to learn some two-handed cuts, because a problem I've been running into a lot is like I'm severely inconsistent. So I'm trying to like learn a lot of more practical cardistry, just because that's also very, very good exercise.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that's mostly what I'm doing at the moment.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. So I'm going to switch over to questions from the chat. Yeah. So first question: any big things coming up that you want to plug?
Not that I want to plug, no.
There you go. That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Cool. But there is some undescribable but definite cool stuff coming up.
Oh yeah, always, yes, for sure.
Time.
Yes.
Cool. That's what I like to hear. All right. So yeah. Oh, do you have any preferences, and do you have any preferences in terms of cards that you use? Like, are you are there certain
do you mean like the Not like a deck in general, or just like what I prefer.
Yeah, the question originally was, what is your favorite deck? But I kind of want to open it up to what makes. Do you care about the kind of deck?
Small hands, so thin, preferably.
Oh, interesting.
Thin but snappy. Yeah, I mean, cards, like anything by USPCC works for me, man. Like, or that depends on when they were printed. So. But yeah, no, like lately they've been doing a lot of good stuff. Yeah, so far, all the Fontaines work for me. Yeah, I think. Well, also like. I do enjoy like some more weird feeling decks sometimes, like vodkas and stuff. Totally depends on what you want to do, like what you're.
Yeah, there's definitely some cards that are better.
It always depends on the flourish or whatever. For example, the pink Fontaines do not stick as well to my fingers as the black ones. These are really smooth, but that's great for other things like. So yeah, no, it's always different, but the standard stuff. I'm not very picky at all. So
yeah, did I get the sense that you have a particular appeal to really weird cards?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I love ugly decks. I'm not necessarily like a deck collector, but I mean. Like what we were talking about earlier, like how much fun cardistry can be is just like, I mean, cards are the tools that we use. And I mean, there are so many cards and so many decks that like you can't even believe exist. Like it's crazy. Like there are so many fun ones.
Yeah.
And also like, I just like this ironic kind of, I've always enjoyed like using, the Black Tigers and the XCM decks and stuff. Like they have a place in my heart. So yeah, I don't know why necessarily I like ugly decks, but I just do. Like this one, for example, I just picked up, it's impossible. But this is nice exercise to use these. But yeah, I just like these weird things.
That does sound like it would be the worst to do anything with.
yeah, they're pretty terrible. But who knows? Like I might be able to create something with that I wouldn't be able to do with a regular deck.
I just thought of that. You can actually like lock cards in some ways and do construction like that. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. It's like these weird corners and stuff.
Yeah,
might be something worth looking into.
Yeah, it kind of comes back to what we were talking about before in terms of like sometimes just the stupid stuff is just really entertaining.
Yeah.
And it kind of comes back to that. Yeah, because I remember a post a while back. Spencer sent you a bunch of cards.
Yeah.
That were also
some great ones.
Really trying to, I guess I don't need to find it, but yeah, and then. Yeah, there's also a certain appeal to just really dumb cards.
Yeah, I love them.
Like, for example, the Cardsicon, not the Cardsicon deck.
The Your Logos?
The logos, yep.
Yeah, those are sick.
All right, anyways, moving on. Do you, this is not really a question, but a question that the chat made me think of is, what are your inspirations, either explicit or implicit, from stuff that are not in cardistry? So I don't know, maybe music or things like that.
Oh yeah, music always. I mean, anything that kind of can influence you subconsciously while you're actually doing cardistry is always, inspiring in a sense. I mean, it's not like I hear a song and it makes me think of like an idea for a flourish that doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, of course, like I love music. Like music's a huge part of my life. And I'm a movie buff as well. So I just like when I don't do cardistry, I basically just watch, or I usually like do cardistry while I'm watching movies and listen to music. But whenever I'm not doing cardistry, I'm also doing those two things. So I mean, like it's a part of me. So I guess that kind of is linked to how I think creatively in some ways. but yeah, I don't know. It's a very hard question since everything is subconscious. So
yeah. Any specific kind of music or like bands?
I enjoy most stuff. But I'm definitely what you would call like a beat head. So I listen to a lot of instrumental hip hop and wonky and jazz. I also enjoy a lot. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the stuff I enjoy listening to the most while I'm in my creative zone. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's I think just the like the hip hop sort of rhythm really appeals to like my creative sensibilities. I mean, it's a nice flow to work within,
right?
And especially since a lot of my stuff is kind of like on beat stuff, where it's like you know, a rhythm in the flourish as well. So yeah,
cool.
Hip hop.
Hip hop. Hip hop. Don't stop. Yeah, I could see the Pulp Fiction poster in the background, which supports your film bus.
Yeah, I also have this wallet. I don't know if you can see.
Oh, hell yeah!
Yeah, it's my favorite movie. It's an obvious like favorite movie to have. Like, but I don't know. I have to be honest with myself.
Yeah, it's a fair point. It's one of those things where you don't really want it to be your favorite movie because it's like it's a lot of people's favorite movie. But
like every time I watched it, it's like, fuck, I don't know a better movie. Like I can't think of one. Like every time I'm like, oh, it might not be my favorite movie, and then I rewatch it, and it's like, fine, it's the best. Like I'll never see a better movie than this in my entire life. It's pretty depressing every time I watch Pulp Fiction. Actually, it's like, oh god damn it, I'll never experience anything this good. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you said
something that movie I can highly recommend. It's Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. It's really good.
Oh, nice. Yeah, also a classic. Yes. Though in a very different way. So you said something interesting about your cardistry kind of being in a beat and kind of following like a beat thing. What is that? The question I'm getting at is how do you describe your own cardistry? If that makes any sense. Like if you're to define your style, not to define it really, because I know that you don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Well, yeah, new age XEM, but no, but it's I don't know. I really want to play around with a lot of different stuff, and that's kind of like I've been creating a lot ever since the Pink Tour, and most of the stuff I have now is like barely any ISOs. But yeah, I guess that's kind of what I'm most known for, like the kind of 2D playing up here. I don't really know how I would describe that. Like it's not.
That was pretty good.
It's not dancing in the sense that like Zach is actually like it's that's more dancing. This is I don't know. It takes a lot of inspiration from a lot of different stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, if you've looked through like my Instagram and stuff, you can tell that I do a lot of weird stuff. I don't know how to define it. Like I've been playing around with packet cuts. I've been playing around with one card stuff. I've been I don't know. How would you define it? I have no clue.
Yeah, so one thing you said in there is that you were kind of talking about things like in a certain plane. That's what people know you about, and I feel like a crucial component to that is just shapes in general and focusing more on shapes than, I don't want to say flow because I don't want to assume that there's no flow in that, but it's more like you're trying to highlight shapes and there's stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like those flourishes like that make up most of like Gothenburg Shuffle and stuff. They're very like reaction seeking. But yeah, I wouldn't define my style as that. And that's kind of what I want to, get away from really. So that's why the next thing you'll see from me will probably be very, very, very different. But yeah, we'll just have to wait. And see.
I guess we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. All right. So let's take a break from all of those really high level, hard to answer questions. And
thank you.
So someone asks, what was your process or how did you get to the point where you came up with a flourish virus? What was the process to get to that?
Well, I came up with that one ages ago.
Right.
So I couldn't really tell you. All I know is that at that point I didn't do like any cardistry at all.
This was before your trip?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess that one kind of I think that one exists solely because I did not know how to do cardistry. So basically, I didn't have any like foundations to work with. So I kind of had to like kind of improvise. Like I was obviously used to like a deck of cards. I was a card guy when I was doing Magic, and I'd been watching a lot of cardistry, you know. But yeah, I didn't really like know how to do it or anything. I just knew that I wanted to come up with a flourish. So yeah, if you watch the tutorial or if you know virus, you know that it doesn't make a lot of sense. But somehow it kind of still works, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, it's basically just from me not knowing how to do cardistry. I was just like experimenting. That was it. Like, and I didn't have any like. I guess that's kind of a thing that forces you to be original, you know. Like if you if you don't know how.
Yeah, no, that's something that I've kind of done in some ways. Obviously, to different extents. In that, like I don't learn a bunch of flourishes, which I'm trying to change now. But I think it's kind of like forced me to do things that are really different because of that. So there is something beneficial in that. And so, would you say it's your first flourish?
Second. My first one was Spatchum, the angel thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So. Yeah. Wow. I didn't realize. Huh. I imagined it was a bit. I didn't realize it was that old. I suppose is the thing.
Yeah, they're both pretty old.
Are there any other flourishes that you think you came about in an interesting way? I said we would be getting away from large, difficult answer questions, but
why are you lying, man? Okay. Yeah. So you gotta let me think. Well, nah, not really. I mean, it's always kind of the same stuff where it's either just fucking around, trying to, you know, I don't know. It's my creative process is a lot of the time just trying to fuck things up because that's a good way to be original. Like, kind of just doing something that you know is bad, but then like forcing yourself to make that the best version of it that it can be. And that way you can 90% of the time it turns out shit, but sometimes you know you hit that like you find that
there's a gold nugget.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you can expand on that. Interesting. Cool. Yeah, which kind of leads back to something, but I forget what it was. I lost my train of thought. All right. Moving on. Oh, actually, no. I did want to ask about something. There is a flourish in Gothenburg Shuffle in which you have cards that are bent on top of each other and they're squeezed. Yes. Can you expand a bit on this one? Because I'm really curious about how that happens.
That was just like at first I was just like playing around with a triangle like this with single cards, and I just showed that to Zach, like that small bending idea. And on Skype, and then we just like I don't know, brainstormed, I guess, and he was suggesting having two cards on either side and then splitting it, and then like just that thing that made the most sense was like linking them at the end, I suppose. So it wasn't really that much to it. It was just this weird little thing at first, and then Zach just said split them, and then I did, and then I linked them. But so that was kind of like a straightforward process, I guess.
Interesting, because so what I thought it was going to be is that you found, because the idea of having like bent cards on top of each other like that makes sense. Because I think that's like understandable. Yeah. And so I was wondering if it was the case that you noticed that could happen somehow, and then expand on that and figure out a way how to have that happen.
I think that this thing came out of just me kind of wondering why no one bends cards like in cardistry.
Yeah,
because I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff you could do probably. So I was just like, I just did like a triangle with 3 cards, and I was like, just doing that little pushy thing where you bend it and like, or like when, you shrink it. And then it just sort of happened, like you push one up between the other two and you get that formation. And I just noticed that I could hold it like that still.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Interesting. Because as we've said, and it's a recurring theme on the streams, and also in Dimitri's book, there's like the 2 main things that happen is either thinking of an idea, then making it real, and then experimenting with something, and then that turning into that. So
I don't think there's much more to it than that, really.
All right. Actual easy to answer question, hopefully. How long have you been doing cardistry?
That is a hard question. Well, I mean, it's kind of
because I imagine that there's a blurry zone when you were doing kind of magic, and then kind of.
Yeah, I did magic, and I created like 2 flourishes while I was into magic, and I wouldn't call that doing cardistry.
Right.
So I guess it would be like a little more than. I guess it would be. A little more than 2 years, maybe.
Okay, so the way I like to think about it is, I had a period of time where I was kind of fiddling with cards, and I don't really count that as doing cardistry. And then I started taking it seriously at some point.
Yeah.
So I think you kind of said this earlier, but would you say that you started taking it seriously because of the Europe tour?
I would say after the first cardistry con, really, like that's when it got serious. Right. But yeah, at the point that you met me, I would be calling myself a magician at that point. When we met for the first time.
And I think I do remember that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Business Accurate tour was
primarily magic.
Primarily magic. I was going to say split cardistry magic, but it's actually mostly just magic.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, because it feels like it wasn't that long ago, and
it really wasn't. Like, but it I mean, so much has happened. Like, so I guess it feels like it was a long ass time ago.
Yeah, it's what a okay, so that I'll try to find a better easy question. I'll I'll make this my personal goal for this stream.
Thank you.
All right. No, that's not easy.
But you can ask. You can.
No, I know.
I was just being. You can ask me whatever you want, man. It's fine.
Yeah. So, well, because what I really want is questions that kind of lead to a conversation, which are kind of the weird and higher level ones.
No worries, man. Yeah, we'll do those.
So, what was your favorite visit to favorite city to visit and hang out in during the Pink Tour?
Ooh. Every place was very different, but if I had to pick one, Barcelona, probably. Yeah,
that's a good choice. Yeah, Barcelona's awesome.
Yeah, because it was like the first place we went to, so it was kind of like the start of everything, and we met up with we were like a group of like 15 people or something there, and we had like plenty of time to just like chill and walk around, and we had the craziest jam at a park in Barcelona. The biggest jam I think we've ever had. So yeah, that was pretty great, and the weather is amazing. So
yeah, and there's also the
beautiful city. So
yeah,
but yeah, every place was fantastic, obviously, but I'd say Barcelona.
Barcelona, yeah, that's fair. Barcelona is pretty cool. I was kind of hoping you'd say Paris because I like Paris a lot, which is also completely biased because I grew up there.
Yeah, Paris is great, but I'd never been to Barcelona before. Also,
that's
so,
yeah. Let's see. You could scroll this whole question in front of the actual question thing makes things really easy. A bit of an odd question, but can either of us do Tryst by Burger?
No way.
No. Oh, I guess because of the hand size.
Yeah. Well, I think that's actually one of the ones I think that I would be able to do if I really, really put an effort into it. But
yeah.
I'm not. Yeah. I'll do that sometime in the future.
Yeah.
I'm putting that one on hold for now.
There's some things that are just not worth the time involved.
Yeah, but that's a great flourish. I would love to be able to do that. But
yeah, it's one of those flourish I want to do something with it and try to expand on the idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's kind of that same idea with Pivotal with me, where it's like it's a cool thing to do, but I don't want to. For me, it's not quite worth the time involved in getting it down.
Yeah.
So it's always going to be a space where I practice for 10 minutes and then be like, that's great.
Have you seen Burger's extension of Tryst?
No.
Oh, okay. He hasn't dropped it then. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Never mind.
All right. Cool. Well, that's a big list of big stuff coming soon that we can't really talk about. Yeah. Sounds good. Okay, so see, that was an easy question.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. Got that out. By the way, just making this a joke. Don't worry about it. So I can't find the question, but there was an interesting question about community, and there's kind of like this kind of question that keeps coming back, and because the community has evolved a lot over the past few years, partially just because it's grown, but also because of CardistryCon and a lot of things like that. Yeah. I don't know what to get back to those crazily high level questions, because we're really missing them. What are some of the highlights you think that benefits having like a larger community versus some of the downfalls maybe?
Well, I don't know if there are any downfalls, really. I mean, I guess it becomes less personal maybe if a shit ton of people are doing it. I think it has kind of gone to that point now. I mean, I feel like, but I mean, it's always going to be like that. Like the people that are just starting, like if it's, it takes a while to like get in the middle of it really. But I mean, with all the social media that we have now and like Instagram and all, I think it's, if you want to be in the family, like it
doesn't take much.
It doesn't take much really. And I don't think that will change like our big maybe it'll start like being like, like separate little communities of cardistry, but I don't mind that either. I mean, it's fine because we always have CardistryCon, like then everyone comes. So I don't think there are any real downsides really that I could think of right now on the spot. If more people are doing it, it's just like a richer and more healthy art form, in my opinion.
Yeah, just more stuff means more things to take inspiration from, more things to appreciate. The typical downfall that people point to is just that there's kind of a stratification between, the greats and everyone else, and kind of which is kind of inevitable.
It's inevitable. I mean,
and I think like
we're all just people. Like it can't.
That's the thing. Yeah. The funny thing is like
be friends with everyone. Like it doesn't work like that. It's
and it's not like the XCM days where what is the Dark Trials or something like that where you have to do chariots with your feet. It's nothing like that.
Oh, I like that. No. It's but yeah. I mean, it was even. I think it was kind of like that also when the community was really small. Like people,
yeah, definitely
were more high level. Like were basically hard to get a hold of or whatever. But
yeah, and I don't think that's like for the reasons people might expect. It's not like, people who, the greats, quote unquote, are feel that they're better than everyone else. It's just like a question of numbers. Just, there's like, you can't have the same meaningful interaction with all the people if there's just more people. And so, I mean,
and also like sometimes it takes more, than just sharing a hobby. Like it's like you actually have to click with a person. And I get a lot of messages on, Facebook and Instagram and stuff. And it's like people who want to say hi and like, I really like your stuff. And, I appreciate that a lot. But I mean, they don't really have a reason to like
it's just, there's no discussion to be had there.
There's no discussion really. I mean, I guess there is in a lot of cases, but there's like at a certain point, like it's hard to like make everyone happy.
You can't keep up with everyone, and like it's not like growing the community from 1,000 people to 10,000 people actually changes that, because even when there's 1,000 people, whoever is quote unquote up top is going to have this exact same problem. So I don't think, and also like even then it's like a decent price to pay, and most importantly, like when it comes down to things like jams, there's not a stratification at all. Like at CardistryCon, everyone can talk to everyone, and I could approach Jason,
because then when you don't have like 10 people talking to you at once, it's like it's these nice interactions, and it's a nice back and forth. I think that's one of the great reasons why we have the con. Like then everyone is just like everyone is on the same level. Like it's I feel that way, at least, like that most people are very approachable. Like, it's
I mean, we're all people.
We're all just weird,
just very weird with a weird hobby. Except if he's just an alien. But we're okay with that. Cool. Let's see. All right. All right. Chat is getting a bit weird, so we'll throw back up to before it was weird.
Wait, sorry, that last question. Did I answer the question, or did I?
I forget. I got a. We were talking about kind of the downfalls to the community, and that was the best downfall you could really come up with.
Okay. Yeah. That was a good long answer then, because
exactly that's exactly what I was looking for. Yeah.
Forgot the question. Yeah.
Not
a good answer, but a long answer.
Long answer, the discussion. I mean, if you're gonna have a thing that's like an hour long, you at least have to justify it with a bunch of long answers. So actually, one thing is, what about some of the better aspects of something like having a larger community? There's the obvious things, I suppose. I guess we kind of got to that. Just more people, just more material, more stuff out there.
I think that. I mean, if we have a bigger community, I think that that kind of results in cardistry being more mainstream. No, I mean that's kind of inevitable if you have a big community, and that I think gives us cardists a lot of possibilities. Like a lot of if you wanna make a living as a cardist, for example, like I think those possibilities become way more. Like, I'm trying to collect my. I think that it opens up a lot of possibilities just for if work in commercials or movies or whatever. Like if cardistry becomes more of a well-known thing and people know it, then there's obviously going to be way more. I can't think of the words.
So maybe
English is my second language, so
that's fair. So maybe there's a way to put it. Like there's usually kind of a mainstream, and there's definitely a mainstream in cardistry. And it takes, like, every once in a while someone will jump out of the mainstream and do something crazy and just kind of throw it in a different direction. Isolations are kind of an example of that. And the more people you have, the more likely it is that someone does that. And that's the kind of thing that's
exactly
really cool. So
yeah, I mean, like for example, like tutting became huge, and now they get like tons of work. Like the tutters, like I see like on Instagram, like the tutters doing commercials everywhere in all like different countries and stuff. And I think what it takes is just for people to know what cardistry is, to, you know, like if a person, for example, if it's a commercial, like, okay, what would be good for this? Like, if you don't know what cardistry is, like, you'll never think of like, oh, cardistry would be great. But like, the more people know about cardistry, the more possibilities there will be. That's it. I've been repeating myself for 5 minutes now.
Cool. All right. So someone asked a really interesting question, which leads into more high-level conversations. So I'm down for that. So they asked specifically, how does one properly criticize a flourish? Which really comes down to asking, how is it that some flourishes are good and some of them are just not interesting? Is that something you've thought of?
If a flourish is poorly executed, I mean, that's pretty obvious. Other than that, it's just like preference. There's no real way of judging. I don't know. I guess this is a high level question, but there's not really a long answer for this one.
Okay.
I mean, I guess from judging a flourish, I don't know. For me personally, as I was saying at the beginning of the stream, since I do cardistry and have a certain insight, I would judge it way different than a layman would.
Yeah.
So I value, you know, originality above all else. Like a flourish can still be like it could be performed like okay-ish, like and I would still like love it just for the idea. But in other cases, you know, it's just the execution. Like it could be a very simple idea, but it could still be amazing just from the execution. Like I know there are not a lot of people that are playing around with like just like, okay, Elliot Slevin has a lot of great ideas and a lot of great flourishes, but I think where he is the strongest is like he takes standard stuff and like does it like amazingly well, like, and adds the thing that defines the flourish is like the rhythm and the speed and like the it's I don't know, it's hard to like really pinpoint what makes a flourish appealing, because there are so many different flourishes. But yeah, what makes a flourish bad is usually like really poor execution or just lack of originality, really. I don't know. What would you say? I'm curious to hear.
So okay, because it seems like basically you're saying that a lot of it comes down to, as long as it's well executed and remotely original, it comes down to
it doesn't have to be like really well.
No, like, I mean, yes, but like to the point where we can actually understand what's going on. Yeah. Well, for me, the threshold is being able to understand what is actually supposed to happen, and how am I supposed to because part of the experience of a flourish is the flow, and if you're just choppy, I don't understand how it's supposed to flow. So it just doesn't make sense like that. But yeah, so I mean, to me, there's a certain element of when I'm looking at a flourish, sometimes I'll like kind of squint my eyes and be like, why did you do that? That doesn't make sense with the rest of the flourish. And that's partially because, you know, my quote unquote thing is to, I don't know if it's really my thing, I wish it was my thing at least, is to have things that are thematic and flourishes that are thematic and that make sense within the flourish. And so sometimes, like, for example, something that I'll see and it'll just drive me nuts is, you know, someone will be doing a flourish and do whatever, finish it, and then pull out a card and then kind of go like that. And
sure. And that's I feel a little bit differently about that. But I'm very alone in this. I know this. But I think that it's a good thing to like just like the things that in general people would shy away from, I think it's worth looking into. Like, for example, I have a flourish called Sunly Sybil, and I had a discussion with Dimitri about this flourish, and we both agreed on this flourish should not work. Like, it's awful. Like, it makes no sense. It's not cohesive. There's so many weird things happening, and it's like it's this Frankenstein weird ass flourish, but it still kind of works and is kind of appealing. And that was just me fucking with those rules.
Right.
And I think that you can. It's a fine line. I mean, but I think that it's mostly preference. For example, yeah, I agree with you. Like, just that specific one where you just pull out a card doesn't make a lot of sense, but it could. Like,
it could absolutely, yeah. And so the way I would justify it, if anything, is like if you're gonna finish with a card, you either have to start with a card, like a single card. It has like you can totally make sense. You just have to be able to justify it. And it's kind of the thing that I guess I take out of engineering. Whereas, like, you know, if you make a design decision, you have to be able to justify it. You can't just say, well, you know, I'm designing this rocket and it has like wings on the side because I looked at a thing from NASA and it had wings on the side.
Yeah.
That's not a justification. It's like, oh yeah, because of aerodynamically you don't want it to spin and things like that. And that's kind of how I feel about flourishing. If you're going to be pulling out a card, I want to know why you're doing that. And it's very hard to justify sometimes because it's cardistry and a lot of it is just preference. And I thought it looked good or it felt like it made sense there. But yeah, so that's my thing. And I guess it kind of comes down to like that's specifically a pet peeve. Do you have something kind of like a pet peeve where you see someone do something and it kind of annoys you unreasonably?
Ooh, bad ISOs, man. Bad ISOs are the worst. Like, it's people who do ISOs that just don't understand them is like, oh, it's so frustrating. Like, I can't. But I mean, it's you know, everyone's a beginner at some point. It's like, you know, it's just the way it goes. Like, what bothers me is if like a person has been doing cardistry for a long time and still doesn't like get it. Like, not necessarily ISOs, but like but like these weird decisions like. Like I saw someone do this, so I'm gonna do this. Like, and that doesn't make it make sense. Like, it's I'm not nothing. I don't have really anything specific, but I mean, kind of. No, I don't know. Just lack of originality in general kind of is a pet peeve for me when it's just like the same stuff over and over, just recycled. Yeah.
When you say bad ISOs, is it badly performed ISOs or badly
performed ISOs? Because I always enjoy new ideas. But badly performed ISOs.
Hopefully, I hope the thing I posted on Instagram wasn't too awful.
Oh, it's shit.
Cool.
No, that was great, man. It's great.
Yeah, it's not very good because I don't actually practice ISOs. Also, that ISO is really stupid.
I remember you showing me that first cardistry con actually when it was just like you were doing it with like one card, right? And put the camera on me. Yeah, it's really stupid, particularly because it's just really hard and painful. It's like legitimately painful. I can't practice it for very long because it will just hurt my arm. But yeah, I don't know. It's really cool, man. It's really cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's the one ISO idea I have, so I'm gonna milk it to hell. That's what I do. I will say that I don't know if I actually showed it on the stream, but I do have another sequence that involves that, which is, I don't know, halfway decent, hopefully. But anyways, enough about that. Right. So, this is an interesting question. Do you think that we, as cardists, should be trying to impress laymen?
Well, that again, like, it depends on your approach. Like, cardistry is whatever you want it to be. Like,
sure.
My thing is just mostly doing it for myself. Like, I enjoy making videos and stuff. I enjoy the process of it, but as you might be able to tell, most of my stuff is pretty impractical and not very like good for laymen. So that wouldn't be my approach. But if that's your thing, that's awesome. Like that's great. Like that's it's very ballsy. Like it's basically like a live show of skateboard tricks if you're able to do that. Like it's super hard. Cardistry's really hard. Like if you can do live cardistry, that's ballsy and super cool. So I think that more people should do it. But like if it's not your thing, just I mean, I don't think I don't. Yeah, I wish more people would do it, obviously. But But yeah, if that's not your thing, you shouldn't.
Do what you want to do. Yeah, because so the thing that interests me about laymen in terms of cardistry is that they don't have any experience with cardistry, obviously by definition, and so they don't have kind of this like historical background to a flourish. So when I do something that looks like this, they don't know that that's just they don't know they don't see the Pandora opener. And so they're like, oh, it's Pandora opener with radiation. It's like, oh, there's this and that. They don't have like that thread of thought just doesn't exist. And all they see is like kind of this, whoop, that's cool. And so it's very different because it's very easy to underestimate how much what we've seen before influences us. And as a result, when you're trying to if you were to design a flourish for laymen, then you have to approach it very differently because it's not just about doing things that are new, actually, even at all. It's about finding what is impressive and how do you
completely different thing.
It's kind of like in magic, right? I'm no longer really in the magic space, but I do know that there's a very big difference between designing a magic trick for laymen and designing a magic trick for magicians.
For sure.
I remember some quote from somewhere that goes along the lines of if you want to fool a layman, you just need to know how to double lift, do a palm, a pass, and something else, and you're basically set. You can do whatever you want because they don't know what those things are. But if you're trying to impress a magician, they know what all those things are. And unless you like do them perfectly, like I don't know, if you have your hands like close like this, it's like, oh, there's probably a pass going on right now. The card is at the top now. All right, what are you going to do now? What's your next move? I feel like it's kind of the same with cardistry.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, it's totally true. Yeah, but yeah, I'm just like, I'm not ambitious enough. That's just me. Because you kind of like, if you're gonna perform with it, like, you kind of have to build a cardistry act in some ways. Like,
yes, yeah, and there's different ways of presenting.
A lot of trial and error and stuff. Like, see what sticks and see what doesn't. Like, yeah, I just don't have that experience.
Yeah. Some people, I think Frankie has like almost a script that he goes through when he's explaining to laymen what cardistry is. Yeah.
It's everyone's stolen that script because it's so good. Or like this basic structure of it, like starting like and then kind of like expanding upon like it's a great way to kind of showcase it. But I wouldn't necessarily call that like if you were to actually do like a performance like the XCM dudes on CardistryCon, like that stuff is pretty crazy. Like actually doing cardistry in front of an audience, I think it's something that we'll see more of in the future for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And I hope so. But
yeah, again, with more people, there's more people that'll be appealed to all the different kinds of things, and so yeah, that makes sense. Question that is back to weirdly specific questions. Quote, how badly did you lose your shit when you first saw a riffle fan?
A riffle fan?
Yeah.
I believe I saw that. Is that in Silent Transition? Is that where he dropped that? I don't remember.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't think it was an opera.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Well, if you have seen Silent Transition, there's like a ton of shit in that video. I mean, like, it's not like when I saw the riffle fan, it was like, oh, but I mean, the entire video was like, it kind of blends together. I don't remember my exact reaction to the Riffle fan, but I mean, in the midst of that video, yeah, I mean, I lost my shit. But I think that there are way more interesting things in that video than the Riffle fan, even though it's a great flourish. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's one of those things where when you're making a video, there's a lot of interesting design questions you have to keep into account. Like, for example, part of the reason Riffle fan didn't hit you as hard is because everything else was just too good, and so it didn't stick out as well.
Yeah.
So there's kind of like this idea of putting in filler moves in a video so people can recover and notice things that are individually cool.
Dimitri doesn't know what that is.
No, but, well, it's not fair because he's just too. I mean, everything he does is good. So
yeah.
I don't know. So what kind of things do you think about when you're making a video, making a cardistry video?
Doing something new. That's
it's
like my main thing. And also, I think there's a lot of potential in cardistry videos that people have not tapped into. I don't know. I just want to ask you, because I'm not sure. Like, when you saw Gothenburg Shuffle, did you feel like it was like a fresh way of doing a video, or?
Oh, in terms of the filmmaking?
Yeah, or the whole, like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
The filmmaking aspect.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I mean, when I saw the video, I expected it to be amazing, and it was a lot more than that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no, so the thing is because like I've seen at this point, I know who you are, and before watching the video, I knew exactly who you were, and I've seen some bunch of other stuff, and I loved it. But yeah, it was as I said, it felt kind of like parts of it felt like I was watching an AV video in a sense that it's just stuff that I couldn't expect in a million years, and it just hits me really hard. And so that's why I thought of that, because Aviv does that consistently. But yeah, I think it was really creative in that sense. Maybe not the filmmaking as much. But
I because what I want to try to do, like, I feel like a lot of like the cardistry video has been around for a long time, and structurally I feel like everyone kind of copies each other, because like this is how you make a cardistry video, and this is how it's supposed to be,
right.
And I feel like that's kind of a weird way to think when it comes to something as weird as cardistry. Like, it's very personal cardistry. Like, it's something that you do by yourself. Like, I don't think you should try to like make it, like, for example, I mean, Tobias and Oliver and the Dealer Script stuff, they have their distinct style of making a cardistry video, and I feel like pretty much every single other cardistry video that comes out is like not every, absolutely not everyone, but most cardistry videos are like a worse version of their style, because like that's where they learn like what a cardistry, like, that's, I don't know. So I like usually like these like tropes, like repeating a flourish like a bunch of times, like in the editing, and I feel like everyone's doing the same things.
That's a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
I see them like,
and I mean, it makes a lot of like they do it really well, Oliver and Tobias, like, because they get it and they know how to make it flow, and a lot of the time they do it so that they can sell the tutorials, and that makes a lot of sense. Like, so people can, see completely what's going on, but still get the general idea of the flourish. But it's a lot. I think a lot of stuff becomes misunderstood in the process of making a video when everything's just repeated, or not the editing repeating thing, but like when people try to copy. And so that's kind of what I want to shy away from. I don't think that Gothenburg Shuffle is like original in its editing, like, necessarily, but but I think it's way more like narrative sort of. I can't explain. I'm trying to do something a little bit different, and I'm gonna try to go more and more out there with everything that I do, hopefully. But yeah, what was the question?
I forget. Which tells me we're in a good place. Also, so I do want to expand on what I said before, and I think there's these, like, when I was thinking about the video, I was thinking of the kind of shots that you did and the cinematography itself, which isn't really fair because it boils down to less than, because there's a lot more in the video going on than that. And I'm thinking back to the video, and actually, I do recall a bit more the story aspect, and it has a very different pacing than.
Yeah, and that's one thing that which made me super happy was that people said it was really rewatchable, and that was like, yes, I did it. Like, that was exactly what I wanted, because I mean, if everything is repeated within a video, I mean, then there's like, okay, I saw everything like 3 times now. It's like, but yeah, if it's like, if it's more like neatly and more, you shouldn't like drag everything out unnecessarily. I think that if it could be shorter, just trim it up, and it's going to be way more effective. And yeah, have a sense of rhythm within the video. And I'm this is not like me telling people how to do cardistry videos. This is just like my personal approach. What I'm saying is that everyone should try something, different, and try to just like not think about cardistry videos that you've seen before. Just think like, okay, what would be the best way to showcase my style or my flourishes? Like, I think there's a lot of potential. And also, I just wish that people do more YouTube videos in general. I mean, everyone's dropping stuff on Instagram all the time. So yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is that videos really get into cardistry in an interesting way. Some people are of the opinion that, you do cardistry, and the end goal when you're making a flourish is to put in the video, which is not everyone's opinion. Some people just want to throw it on Instagram, and that's perfectly fine. But there is that aspect of cardistry and videos being really intimately linked, just because, I mean, cardistry just works better in a video than live. It just does, because you can highlight what you want to focus on, and it's like an enhanced version. It's an enhanced experience, and also
that's where I'm at, because like since I love music and I love movies and I love cards, and that's all those things combined, and I'm not very comfortable with like the live thing. So I mean, it makes more sense for me to do that. But like, everyone has their thing and approach to it.
Yeah, no, and there's the thing is that and I think that's a good way to approach videos, even if that's not necessarily your philosophy. It's a good way to think about, well, I'm going to be making a video now, so I need to think about not just the cardistry, because I'm not just what I like to say is, you're not just making a video about cards. You're not just making a video that involves cardistry. You're making a cardistry video, and so you have to think about, okay, so I'm making this flourish. What's the best angle? How do you want to put in? Does it make sense in the kind of sequence of stuff I'm putting down? Is this like, when you say that if the video is really rewatchable, it's also a video that forces you to finish it, because it has like a rhythm and stuff, and like a
thank you.
I don't really want to say story. But it's like I don't want to stop in the middle of it. Whereas, I see a bunch of videos every once in a while, between Facebook and Reddit and Instagram, and you get halfway through, I'm like, well, not much has happened. Like, I've seen a bunch of flourishes, and some of them are good, some of them are less good, but I don't feel like I've gone anywhere.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, and I feel like cardistry videos should be, it should be an extension of your cardistry. Like, cardistry videos are cardistry. Like, they're card art as well. Like, the video is cardistry. Like, and you should treat it as that. Like, the same way that you would want your move to be original and cool, you should do the video in the exact same way.
Yeah. Another thing is that there's this quote from Jackie Chan of all people, which hits me really hard. Which is, you know, when you're making a movie or a video in this case, you know, it's if you make a decision to put less time into something, it's not like you have the chance to go to every single person who's watching and be like, oh, by the way, here I was like, I kind of wanted to do this really cool thing, but you know, I ran out of time and you know, ran out of money in this case. And like if you're making a movie, you ran out of budget and couldn't do it, you're not going to do that. All the person is going to see is either a good movie or a bad movie. And if you don't have like an actual excuse, then you don't have any reason not to put all of the work you can into a video, because it's going to stay forever. Like if you're going to put up a video and it's bad, well, you can take it down, but then you've just wasted a bunch of time. So it's more time efficient to just put more work into it to make sure that it's a great video. And a great video is one that people remember. And so if you copy your own style.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. All right. So let's see. One per asks. Okay, so we had a really high level question, so let's switch back to a really easy question. Hopefully,
sure.
Not. How did you choose the music for Gothenburg Shuffle?
I looked through my playlists.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't have a. Oh wait, I did pick the song before I made the video, and then kind of you know, with some notes, just like structured like what flourishes I wanted to do when in the video and to what part of the song and stuff. But I mean, I don't know how I picked that song. I just thought it would fit with the vibe, really. I didn't want something too, you know, distracting.
Right.
And I also, like, I wanted the video to be very cool, but also I didn't like want to come off as, you know, trying to be like, oh, look at me, like, oh, all this cool stuff. I think that kind of the chill vibe of the video finds a balance. So I don't know, just, you know, if you have an idea of what vibe you want in a video, you shouldn't be too hard to find a song.
Yeah, because that's something I've had trouble with, is finding like a good, like an appropriate song. And I've always found that it's a lot easier to find a song first and then make the video work around the song than the other way around. But do you have like, because sometimes you hear a song and like, oh, that'd make for a good video, and that'd make for a good
for sure. And then you just remember that. Yeah, for sure, all the time. And I find that, you know, I don't know, a lot of like, it feels like people are using a lot of like beat stuff and the same rhythm in cardistry videos most of the time, because it's really easy to edit around, and you know, it really usually fits with the cardistry. But also, like, if you want to do something new, I think that like playing around with the music could be really interesting as well, like doing something completely different, like doing cardistry to like hard rave techno like music. Like who knows, it could work. Like no one knows until you tried it. So
yeah,
I think that's something that also could like make your video really pop if you experiment a little bit with the music.
Yeah, and it's important to still, like, it's one thing to, you know, pick music that's out there, but it's also another to actually make it work, because it's very easy to, you know, pick a techno music and not really work with it. And
if that doesn't fit your cardistry style, then, you know, don't do it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, everything's possible.
Yeah. Cool. I saw a question, but then the thing automatically scrolled and I lost it.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. So, this was the question. This is actually an interesting exercise. How many people do you think do cardistry at this point?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, we've got a cardistry community in China and Russia. Like, we have cardistry communities that are pretty isolated from ours. So that's like really hard.
It's
I kind of want to go a little over the top and say like.
What even is over
like
the top?
I don't know. Like it might not even be over the top. Like at this point, like just thinking like how the internet works and how many people like are starting right now as we speak.
Mm.
I don't know. Like it might be way off, but like maybe like 150,000.
Yeah, that's kind of the number I was thinking about.
Yeah. Like people, I don't know. Like how do you define doing cardistry? Like it could be magicians too that are like dabbling with it. That's kind of my like people that know and practice it. That's what like where I like people who know cardistry. And do some stuff. That's like sure 150,000. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. Because the thing is that there's you could count kind of the people on Instagram. And that's one way to do it. But there's also, I'm sure, so many more that just aren't even putting themselves out there. They like, consume content and have a grand old time. And it's really hard to estimate how many people are in that space.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, there are more and more every day. So, I mean,
yes,
that's not impossible.
Yeah. One number that I can throw out is the cardistry subreddit has 15,000 readers.
That's and I mean, and that's just Reddit, so
that's just Reddit. Pretty sure that most of them aren't around in terms of who's posting and active, but 14,000 people made the decision to subscribe to the cardistry subreddit, and it's blown up particularly in the past couple of years. I remember seeing a graph that looked very very spiky at some point.
That's cool.
But yeah, and also that takes into account people who might not be doing cardistry but are interested in looking at it. So that also makes things difficult. But that's at least a number.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. It's I wish I don't know. I'm a man of numbers, and I wish I could have like detailed numbers as to how many people do cardistry, how much cardistry they do a day, and things like that. But that's not a thing. And hey, we got 100 people, 150 people, 150 people.
Yeah, I was around 150 at the con. Yeah,
at the con. Yeah, who are dedicated enough to fly to Berlin and spend 3 days doing cardistry straight. So that's also another number. So yeah, let's see. Do you someone's pointing out that you spend a lot of time on every single question. Well, yeah, I'm okay with that. I feel like that's kind of the means we're looking at some interesting topics.
Yeah.
Anyways, so a lot of people have been asking about the Noel deck. Do you know what this is referring to?
No, I don't have a deck.
Idea.
Oh yeah, my people have been thinking that this is my design for some reason. This is just like one of the ugly decks that or it's not ugly. I think it's dope actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, people think that this is my design. It's not. This is a quiz game. This is not even a deck of cards. it's a quiz game about candy. But I found them and it was like a dope ass back design. So I got them. But yeah, so that I hope that answers your question.
All right.
About the Noel deck.
Yeah,
I don't have one.
All right, so important question. Where do you get those dope ass jackets? I'm quoting here.
Some secondhand stores. I think some of them are from round 2 in LA. Sometimes Zach just sends over clothes and stuff, but every time I go there, I always make sure to swing by round 2 and buy some stuff. Round 2 Hollywood.
All right. So another question that I saw and then it scrolled away. Yes. So This is a question that's packed with a lot of information. So I feel like we're doing a good job alternating short and long questions. So someone is asking, why there are so many videos near CardistryCon?
Well, that's because people want to showcase that in front of a live audience. Why are you asking me?
That's so yeah. So the reason I picked this question is because there's kind of something that I found interesting is the focus of everything revolving around CardistryCon. Yeah. There's definitely a trend of that happening.
Yeah.
And also, so in terms of people wanting to show their stuff in front of a live audience, I don't think I wonder if it's really the best experience for watching a video. Because I remember that I ended up rewatching all the videos just because I feel like I didn't catch anything. Not anything. I didn't catch everything. And like every once in a while you want to like go backwards to rewatch part of the video. And so there are obviously the benefit is you get people's reaction instantly. And it's really easy to gauge what works and what doesn't. And also it just feels good, I suppose. But yeah, there's something about the viewing experience that is changed, and I don't know if it's like
I think that like negative aspect that you're talking about, like not catching everything the first time, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, most of the time that what you saw was good, or if it wasn't, like it was bad. Like that's the important thing. You can always rewatch the video. I mean, it's a cardistry video. It's not necessarily like a movie where like you need to catch on everything for it to work. So I mean, if you don't really catch everything, I don't think that's like
I guess you could always rewatch it again, which is exactly what I did.
Yeah, and I mean, just the collective excitement of like a dope cardist showing their video in front of like an audience, and you're the first one to see it, like with everyone there. I think that's a cool, super cool thing. So I wouldn't say there are any negative aspects to it, really.
Yeah. Yeah. That question kind of fell short. All right. Completely unrelated question. How did you meet Biz? And yeah, how did you meet Biz?
That was at a magic convention here in Sweden called Magic Weekend. And yeah, so I met him like, yeah, he was hanging out with Oliver and Tobias and those guys. And that's where I met him for the first time. And then every year after that, he would come to Magic Weekend and we would share a room. So yeah, we kind of just built our friendship on that convention. And then he just started like coming to Sweden randomly and just living here for a week or two. And then so yeah, at a magic convention. It's not very surprising, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I guess that does make sense. Yeah.
I wish I could tell you the story of how I met him, but this would not be an appropriate
okay.
for it.
All right. So I feel like the kind of running out of steam in terms of questions.
Yeah, and since it's almost 12 and I got work tomorrow,
we've been going for
wrap it up.
An hour and 45 minutes. So yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know. So yeah, anything else you want to ask? I'm also kind of giving time for like last questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Chat, if I miss anything. Anything else you want to add? If you had to tell one thing to someone who's starting out cardistry, what would that be?
Ooh. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is like a question that you have, like you need to have a really good answer for it.
Yeah, this is the one that they'll write quotes on Facebook walls throughout history.
Exactly. Yeah. This is gonna shape my future right now. God. Oh, that's a tough one. Okay, you go first.
Yeah, I didn't think that one through. I was just trying to come up with a question.
Yeah, it's a really good question. A little too good, actually.
Yeah. It's So some of the points I would want to capture in that are stick with it because it's going to get better. And also figure out why you want cardistry and optimize for that. And by that, I mean, if you want to just learn moves, just make sure you find the moves you want to learn. If you're trying to become a better cardist, either strategically try to avoid learning moves or strategically learn moves that you think will help you become a better cardist.
Yeah. I would probably tell the person to if this is something that you find cool, and I think this is something that everyone who's doing cardistry has been suffering by, is it having a label and it might be perceived as a dorky hobby, a weird, how yo-yoing can be it's been labeled as a dorky thing, right? And yeah, I would say just fuck those people that tell you that it's dorky, because it's fun as fuck, and you should just do it till the day you die.
All right,
that's what I would say.
That sounds like a good place to end then. All right, well, again, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you, man. This has been fun. Yeah.
Seems like the chat enjoyed it, and awesome. Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
All right.